dear students, welcome to Sri Answer Coaching Classes YouTube channel. To get latest videos, please subscribe this channel. Today's topic is Unit 1.1 from English Medium textbook, where the mind is without fear. This is a poem composed by Rabindranath Tagore. It is a Nobel Prize winning poem in 1913. This poem is originally composed in Bengali language, later it is translated into English. Here in this poem, poet appeals to the God to awake his country, appeals to the God for the freedom, political, social and cultural freedom. Let's see its explanation.
Where the mind is without fear. Warming up. 1. Pair up with your partner and match the terms with their given meanings. In column A, the terms are given. You have to match their meanings in column B. Humanism. What is humanism? E option. A rationalistic outlook towards humans rather than a divine or supernatural one. Second, patriotism. C option. Quality of being patriotic, vigorous, support for one's country. Internationalism. D. State or process of being international. Liberalism. B option. Holding liberal views. Environmentalism. A option. Concern about an action aimed at protecting the environment. Second, poems in the English are different types of. There are so many kinds of types of poems. Sonnet, epic, limerick, lyric, ballad, humorous, elegy, free verse, and added. So many types of poems. So, what is sonnet? Sonnet is a 14-line poem. What is epic? It is a long story poem. Often it is mythical. Limerick. It is a 5-line short funny poem. 5-line short funny poem with rhyme scheme AABBA. Remember, the rhyme scheme for limerick is AABBA. Lyric, a song-like poem. Lyric, a song-like poem. Elegy. It's a sad poem lamenting the death of loved one. It is elegy. Humorous, a poem written just to create humor. Idle, a poem set in the picturesque rustic background. And free verse. What is free verse? A poem with no uniformity of rhyme, rhythm, etc. Now let's move to poem. Very nice poem where the mind is without fear. Before further teaching, I want to introduce the poet Rabindranath Tagore. Rabindranath Tagore was the author of Gitanjali in its profoundly sensitive, fresh and beautiful verse. He became the first non-European to win the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1913. He has got the Nobel Prize for literature, in literature, for his writing. This poem is one of his vastly read and discussed poem. It was originally composed in Bengali and later he himself translated it into English. This poem is a form of Nobel Prize winning anthology, Gitanjali. Remember, anthology means the collection of poems. It's called anthology. Tagore lived during the time when India was ruled by the British. In this poem, besides political freedom from British, Tagore also appeals to God for social, educational and economic freedom for the people of India. Let's listen the explanation. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free. In the very first line, the poet prays to the Almighty that his countrymen should be free from any fear of oppression or forced compulsion. He wishes that everyone in his country has his head held high in dignity. In other words, according to him, in a truly free country, every person should be fearless and should have a sense of self-dignity. Where knowledge is free. In the second line, where the mind is without fear, the poet dreams of a nation where knowledge would be free. Education should not be restricted to the upper class only, but everybody should be allowed to acquire knowledge. Not only that, the children should learn freely from the nature and the world around them. They should not be forced to memorize some predetermined lessons, and this is poet's typical concept of education, Tagore's typical concept of education. Proceed for the next line. Where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls. These lines, the poet emphasizes the unity of not only of his countrymen but also of the entire world. He thinks there should be no division among people based on their caste, creed, color, religion, or other baseless superstition. In other words, prejudices and superstitions should not divide the people in groups and break their unity. Where words come out from the depth of truth. In this line, poet wants a nation where people are truthful. They should not be superficial, and words should come out from the depth of their hearts. Where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection. In this line, the poet wants everyone to work hard to reach their goal and in the long run to reach perfection. He thinks they should not be tired by working. People should not be lazy and ignoring their work. Where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into a dreary desert, sand of dead habits. In these lines, the poet compares reason or logical thinking to a clear stream, and the next line compares dead habits or the superstitious beliefs to a dreary desert. He wants the stream of reason not to lose its way into the desert of prejudices. In short, people's thoughts should be monitored by rational thinking, not by superstition. Logic should rule over the old baseless beliefs. Where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thoughts and action. In these two lines, poet wishes his countrymen to be progressive and broad-minded. He wants that their minds are led forward and ever-widening thoughts and action by the Almighty. In short, we should be open-minded and do something unusual or extraordinary, overcoming the narrowness of mind. Into the heaven of freedom, my father, let my country awake. In the final line of the poem, the poet addresses the God as Father. He asks him to awaken his country into such a heaven of freedom where the above conditions meet. To make it clear, the poet prays to the Almighty, means God, to raise or lift his country to such heights where freedom would be realized at its best. In turn, he actually praying that God awakens his countrymen so that they come out from the darkness of ignorance, prejudices, disunity, and all other evils. Here, a great addition from our reader. Suggests that poet Rabindranath Tagore wants to awaken the God within us to free our mind from shackles and bondage. It is not evoking God, but using it is metaphor for the higher self within. Its interpretation is beautiful and it's a nice poem. I think in the poem, poet's message is very clear. If all the people of the nation are not wise enough to lead a happy and peaceful life, free from all evils, they cannot enjoy their freedom well. So to the poet, only political freedom is not so important unless you are fearless, self-dignified, knowledgeable, truthful, hardworking, and broad-minded enough to enjoy it fully. I hope you like this poem. Now let's move to its workshop. Where the mind is without fear, workshop. Question 1. In your notebook, write down lines from the poem as a proof for the following. Tagore wishes nation for where people are truthful. Which line proves that? Where the words come out from the depth of truth. This is a proof. B. The poet would like everyone to work hard to reach their goal and in the long run to reach perfection. And the line is where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection. C. The poet wishes that everyone in his country holds his head high, dignity. And the line is where the mind is without fear and the head is held high. D. The poet dreams of nation where knowledge should be free to all. And the answer is where knowledge is free. The poem is a prayer. Which line suggests where the mind is led forward by thee or into the heaven of freedom, my father, let my country awake. These lines suggest that the poem is prayer. Second, read the columns carefully and match the expressions with their meanings. I have given you the answers directly. The head is held high means a person with self-respect and proud of possessing it. Narrow domestic walls means narrow-mindedness. Knowledge is free. Education is given to all. Depth of truth, sincerity of heart. Mind is without fear. means a fearless person. Stretches its arm means aims at perfection. Clear stream of reason means clear thinking. Dead habits means dried infertile land of science. Ever widening thought and action. It is broadening to outlook and the attitude action. Question 3a. Answer the following questions in your own words. How is the world broken into fragments? And the answer is, the world is broken into fragments by divisions of on the basis of religion, castes, class, race and color in the societies all over the world. B. Explain what the tireless striving should be for. Answer. Tireless striving should be attain one's goals as well as to achieve perfection. C. Where come out from the depth of truth. Explain in your own words. It means, answer, it means when people speak truthfully and with complete sincerity of heart. Who is thee in the poem? What does the poet appeal to thee to do? Answer. Thee is a God. The poet wishes God to awaken his country into a heaven of freedom where the people are truly free and total freedom of good thoughts. Good words and good actions exists. B. Write in your notebook your own response and justify where needed. Is the poem a prayer for India alone? Answer. The poem is a prayer for India alone, but it is also relevant for countries all over the world. What should the words we speak reflect? The words we speak reflect, or the words we speak should reflect, are sincerity and truthfulness. What should people keep on widening? How can it be done? From what darkness of night should our nation awaken? Answer. Our nation should awaken from the darkness of prejudices, division of society, old tradition, rituals and customs that are harmful, imparting for knowledge to selected people, insincerity, untruthfulness, fear and lack of self-respect. What attributes of Rabindranath Tagore does the poem reflect? The poem reflects Rabindranath Tagore's patriotism and love for his country, his clear thinking, his broad outlook, his scientific attitude, and his emphasis on hard work. F. What effect does the repetition of the word where at the beginning of each line? Answer. The repetition of the word where at the beginning of each line gives a musical touch to the poem. Question 4a. Complete the following sentences using own interpretation. When the mind is without fear and head unbowed, we enjoy complete freedom. When knowledge is free, every citizen enjoys the right to learn and obtain knowledge. We can prevent social injustice when we pull down discriminatory walls of caste, class, religion, etc. D. Constant effort and strife leads to achieving our goals and perfection. E. Logical thinking and reasoning can put a stop to the following of old traditions and customs that are harmful. F. Tagore appeals to God to make his country a heaven where people have good thoughts, say good words, and do good actions. Question 5b. Fill in the blanks. A. Students should keep themselves aloof from old harmful traditions. B. When knowledge is free, everyone will be literate. C. It is a social duty of every student of modern world to uproot narrow-mindedness from societies. D. Students must develop broad outlook and attitudes. In the world of psychophancy, students must have self-respect. Read the poem. Write an appreciation of the poem in 15 sentences, 12 to 15 sentences with the help of following points: title, poet, rhyme scheme, favorite line, theme. These are the points to write. The figures of speech, special features. These are the points removed from the appreciation. So you have to use just these points: title, poet, rhyme scheme, favorite line, etc. and central idea. These 5 points must include in appreciation. Remove these points. Figures of speech must be included, but special features and why I like poem, don't write these points. Last, imagine that you have to deliver a speech and topic is Independence Day or Republic Day. On the occasion of Independence Day or Republic Day, you have to deliver a speech. Topic is my India of my dreams. Use the following points. I hope you like this video. Please subscribe this channel. Thank you.